Alright, so what is the next unit test? I think it should have to do with removing a product from, as part of a shopping cart item from our shopping cart, and our shopping cart only contains that particular product. So we might as well do that with apples, given when we've got a shopping cart that's got apples in it and we try and remove apples, then we end up with an empty cart, right? Okay, I have pre-prepared the unit test. Let me just paste it in here. Okay, so here's the new unit test. Given apples and cart, when call remove on apples, then have empty cart. We're creating a new instance of the shopping cart. We're adding 2 apples. We're removing apple, and the cart should be empty. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's see what happens when we run all unit tests. Okay, the unit test fails. It says expected carted items to be empty, but we found apples. Alright, this is a problem. How do we fix that? Let's come into the remove method and see what we can do. Well, one of the things we could do, just sort of try it out as a bit of a coarse approach, but it might work for us, is to kind of say items.clear and give that a go. So just remove everything from the items collection. Obviously, this is just the first approach, the first approximation, and ultimately we will need something much more refined with regards to implementation to make remove work on product name. But maybe right now we can get away with this. Alright, let's go back to the unit test and run them all again. Alright, so that unit test where we only had apples and we're trying to remove apples and we have the empty cart, that is now passing. However, another unit test is failing. When we have apples in the cart and we're trying to remove bananas and we still have apples in the cart, now we won't have apples in the cart anymore. Because we've emptied out the items collection in our shopping cart, it won't have anything in the cart. This is a problem. That was this unit test up here, and I previously said that this will be a unit test whose importance we will still see, and now it's become relevant. I think it's time for us to implement a much more refined version of our remove method. Let's go and do that now. Items.clear will not work for us. Well, how about items.remove? So here we can remove an item. The iList interface has got a remove method, and we handed a shopping cart item. I think that looks really good. Let's go items.remove item. We will still have to determine what the item is, but we can do this in the line before it. Because I have our item, this is the item to remove, is equal to items first or default. Brilliant. Var item is equal to items at first or default, where the product name matches on product name, and then we try and remove that item from the collection. It's complaining that the item may be null here, but removing a null item shouldn't throw an exception, so whether it is null or not, and it may be null because that's what the or default means for a reference type like shopping cart item. It means if the item cannot be found on product name, we will get the default value, as in the default for a reference type like shopping cart item. Of course, that is a null. And we'll try and remove a null, which of course won't exist. And remove will not throw an exception, which is great. So this ought to work. Let me go back to the tests and let's run all our tests. Excellent. So all the tests are passing and our code is working. Just as an aside, I know it isn't strictly code that we're writing due to a failing test. However, I think it is okay in our instance here to undertake a null check. So for example, if you went ahead and did something like this, if item is not equal to null, only then remove it, I would deem that to be more than acceptable. It's just that little bit clearer, even though it's a line longer. Okay, good. So we've got this unit test working as well, and it is time for you to look at the next task. See you shortly.